Whilst most of the quests in Dragon Age The Veilguard are shown to you by quest markers, the game still has a fair few unmarked quests to be discovered. So, in this video, we'll be looking at 5 of the bigger secret quests that I've found. Now again, this one isn't sponsored, I'm making it simply because I want to, but I have done 2 sponsored build tutorials for this game, just to be clear. This video will contain light spoilers, inevitably, but I'll warn you in advance of any particular ones which you can skip with the timestamps. Without further ado though, let's dive right into the secrets of this game. So, kicking things off, your hub area inside the Fade, the Lighthouse, has a handful of secrets of its own. A few puzzles dotted about the place with new stages to unlock as you progress through the main questline. The first stage though can be done immediately and involves coming outside into the open courtyard area to find some revolving statues. 3 pairs of them in total, which you'll need to rotate to face one another. The first 2 are behind and under Balara and Nev's quarters, the second right between Lucanus and Davrin, with the opposite back above the main indoor area, and the final 2 literally side by side above the courtyard door. With all 3 complete, the secret music room, this circular door, will open up back in the library. And I think a little later, once you've progressed the story, possibly after Weishaupt, we can access the next area from in here. We'll require 2 wisps to open the door. One is already in the room, the other is between the 2 side by side statues back outside. With this door then open, a portal will take us to a balcony in the library where we can repair the central astrolabe, something that will grant us discounted upgrades at the caretaker's workshop for the rest of the game. But that's not quite the end of this treasure hunt. With another wisp also on this balcony opening another door, we can teleport to the outside area, where there's a treasure chest and one of these energy beams. Point it at all 3 of the blue gem things and it'll send even more wisps back into the library, opening another secret door on the other side of this central area. This will contain another teleport, taking us even higher in the lighthouse to a final treasure room with more rewards and access to another balcony, containing the best view of the lighthouse that you can find. It's a fun little treasure hunt, which again unlocks in stages as you progress. Next up is another treasure hunt of sorts, only across a far larger area. The hunt for Candlehops will take us all across Minrathos, and not once will these guys be marked on the map. You literally have to seek out each just by exploring. So, if you're stuck, then here's where to find all of them. The first will set us off on this treasure hunt, and is found immediately in the Shadow Dragon's lair, right before the merchants. The second is not far south of that, inside a building at the docks here, which you sort of have to come around behind and across a boat to get to. Then to the southeast of the Shadow Dragon's base, in this sort of dock alcove. I think this ladder comes down at a certain point through the Minrathos quests, but when it does, you can see the Candlehop is here. The next is accessible again later into Dogtown's quests, after we unlock the Thread Den passage down here, and is hidden behind a couple of gates. The 4th, or possibly 5th, is directly east of the Shadow Dragon base, up in the palace, in this kind of garden courtyard area. The 5th or 6th is very simple. It's inside the Black Emporium merchant shop, which we'll eventually get an invite to, and the final one is just northeast of that, in a region we will have to zip line across to from an area to the northwest. Well, I say it's the final one. I mean the last one that we really have to find, which will then explain to now return to the Shadow Dragon's base, where we found the first Candlehop. And to the other side of the room will be one final one, which will now open up a hidden passage containing one of the game's unique chests, inside which is a red-coloured unique weapon. For me, it was a special necrotic bow, so it stands to reason that the price will vary according to your class. As to who exactly it was that set up this Candlehop treasure hunt, the mystery remains just that, a mystery. Nev will explain that no one knows who makes these Candlehops, and the little codex entry will explain that we are their friends from the Lighthouse, and that they'll help our friends too. That they're on our side, save for the one that got away. Interestingly, there is a haunting quest later on to defeat a rogue Candlehop, so we do actually face off against that one. It's got way too much regen, it's a very annoying fight, but ultimately, the true identity of the Candlehop maker is still unknown. Overall, an intriguing mystery and a fun little treasure hunt to do around Docktown across your playthrough, so enjoy. The third hidden quest is very easy to miss, though it does have an actual game achievement tied to it, and it all takes place in the Hossberg wetlands after completing the main quest, Fire and Ice. I think you'll also need to complete all the Antoine and Evka side quests to finish this quest, but we'll get to that. Basically, returning to the battlefield where we fought during Fire and Ice, this large area to the south, there is a despair demon, frozen in place. Approaching will awaken it, and it in turn will awaken the dead, triggering a fight which we can win with relative ease. However, take note of the fact that this demon is called Despair Undying, born, no doubt, of the great feelings of despair felt across this entire now blight-infested region, and manifesting, of course, at the site of a great battle. It shouldn't come as a surprise then that leaving the area and returning, Despair Undying will be back. Rinse and repeat the process, and we can fight it again and again and again. It was pretty clear to me that there was something more to this demon, and after continually killing it a bunch of times, I realized it wasn't gonna solve things. And yes, the solution to getting rid of it and unlocking the achievements is to instead restore hope to the Hossberg wetlands. Now, spoiler warning both for the solution here and for the end of Antoine and Evka's quest, so jump to the next timestamp if you want to avoid. Basically, at the end, we uncover a tiny cave, or roofless cave, alcove, I suppose, containing a cluster of blue flowers, where once it seemed like nothing would ever grow here again because of the blight, nature is in fact fighting back, and we can harvest a singular flower for ourselves. Now, I had a hunch that the despair demon would somehow be expelled by this, but it wasn't quite that simple. There are in fact 2 more little caves of flowers we'll have to find, and the map does not make them obvious until we do actually find them. The first is in this eastern area, right where we fight a main boss, and the second is to the south of Gaspin Manor, right next to the fast travel point in fact, but very easy to run past. These also contain a regular and unique chest, but importantly for the quest is to pick the flowers on the ground. Having grabbed up all 3, one from each area, you'll firstly notice the civilized starting area is now looking a lot more floral, and returning to the battle site where we fought Despair, it'll now have taken on the form of a benign spirit. We can now lay our flowers down, and it'll speak about how it's so small a thing, yet brings so much hope to these lands. Despair may not have yielded in the past, but this marks the start of it relenting, and we get a secret achievement too. Another thing tied to the Hossberg wetlands is the mysterious disappearance of the Voss family, living just outside the main battlements. Rummaging around their now blight-infested farm and reading their various notes, it becomes clear that something possessed them, something from across the fields previously buried, but was released when boards from a blocked-up well were removed. As they spoke into the well spoke back, echoing their own voice, promising a means to escape the coming blight, only to actually trap them here and eventually destroy them. By uncovering these notes for ourselves, we can learn the truth about the thing that lives in the well, and then finding it across the fields, it will reply to us with the same echo of our own voice.
A well? Well. An echo? 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 That's not my voice. Not your voice. Who are you? Are you?
And, after knowing the malevolent nature of whatever this is, Rook will decide the best course of action is to once again seal up the well.
It's done. No more echo. For now.
And whilst this may sound like an ominous line from an evil spirit, we can actually find it again if we look very hard. I came across this simply by chance when exploring in the crossroads. There's nothing pointing us to it, but it's basically over here in this snowy region and a bit of a stretch to get to as well. So next to this very blight-infested tree then is another well, bigger this time with the capability to jump down. When we do, quite by surprise, we'll be met with the demon of the well, a despair demon called Echo of Echo, which remembers our voice from back in the Hossberg wetlands, and defeating it here in the Fade will, as far as anyone is concerned, remove the Echo of the Well from the world for good. Now, I don't know if we actually reach a point in-game of it returning if we don't do this, but I guess contextually, it is the only way to properly remove it. Cool little unmarked follow-up, and a nice surprise when I came across it. Now, this final one relates to something at the very end, or rather after the game, but the clues for how to get there aren't going to spoil the ending itself. Don't worry, I will warn you when we get to spoilers. So basically, throughout the game are 3 hidden mysterious circles that we'll have to find, and generally involve defeating some pretty tough bosses to do so. The first one then is in Arlathan. To the far northeast of the starting camp is an island that at first we cannot get to. Line up the 3 energy beams around it to form a bridge, and then defeat the Guardian of Secrets boss. We'll be rewarded with a unique chest containing the Iron Veil helm, and behind it the first of the mysterious circles, which seemingly hints at the existence of another bizarre group of beings.
They interrupt, as predicted, as expected, as hoped.
What was that?
Learn, adapt, triumph.
The second is certainly a far greater challenge to obtain and is found in the Necropolis, but only becomes accessible after defeating the Formless One demon in its final draconic form, one of the toughest fights in the whole game. Then, in a small entryway to the side of its battle chamber, will be a second circle which says this:
You return, we are content.
Why are you here? What do you want?
Not now, not yet. We will show you soon.
The final circle can then be found after defeating arguably the toughest boss in the game, the Blighted Revenant Dragon, down in the Crossroads. But to get to it, you'll first have to defeat the various bosses around the world to unlock every essence-locked region of the Crossroads, then defeat the other 3 Crossroads bosses, which are all pretty high level as is, and finally, with all 3 of their essences, we can unlock the way to the Blighted Dragon, back near the Crossroads entrance from the Lighthouse. You may also want to complete the entire Soulless Memory questline before coming down here, as it is possible, potentially, to get some additional help for this fight. And defeating the Revenant Blighted Dragon, we will foremost allow the Crossroads to begin to heal from its blighted corruption. And second, we'll get a unique chest containing a ring that buffs our damage but lowers our resistance. But beyond that is the final mysterious circle.
Fascinating. Unforeseen.
Who are you?
Must not reveal. Must not alarm. Soon, though. Very soon.
Again, the ominous circles will simply remain ominous, and far as I can tell, there is nothing more to discover of them for the rest of the game. However, with this done, after completing the game and the credits too, we will get a post-credit scene. Now, this may spoil the ending of the game and is timestamped below if you want to skip it.
The storm quelled. The sun dimmed. The wolf defanged. At last, we have balanced. Guided. Whispered. And soon, the poisoned fruit ripens. We come.
This will also unlock a secret achievement called the Poisoned Fruit Ripens, and as far as I can tell, sets up the villains for any potential future installments. Veilguard is not getting any DLC apparently, so effectively this seems to be setting up Dragon Age 5, which may release in another 10 years, we'll see. Though, in the meantime, please do discuss your theories as to who or what this elusive group might be down in the comments section. Thank you as always to the patrons for continuing to support the channel. I'm Sam Bram, and have a great day.